Welcome to the Real Estate Investing Morning Show with your hosts, Wayne and Gabby.
Boy, oh boy, today is going to be an absolute gong show. We're already off to a terrible start.
Good morning, good morning.
Well, thank you so much for everybody for joining us here on the very first episode of the Canadian Real Estate Investing Morning Show, live on YouTube.
Yes, we're live.
Yes. First time on video, the 1,170th episode of this podcast, but we've always been on audio.
On audio, yeah.
And normally, you can't really see our faces, but now you can. Now I can see my face too, which is really weird. I'm just still trying to adjust this. This is actually something that we were talking about right before the show. We were talking about the fact that you can't look at yourself the whole time like this. You have to look at the camera. And you're always, I think it's just a natural thing for people to want to naturally, like even when, do you ever see that Family Guy thing where like, I think it was like Peter Griffin got like handsome and he was driving, but as he's driving, he just kept looking at himself in the rearview mirror. And he's just like, and then he got in an accident.
I don't recall.
Wow.
Big surprise.
Yeah. You didn't get a reference? What?
Yeah.
Anyways, so we just got to get used to that anyways. But
you know what's really cool? I'm looking at the live chat here.
Yeah.
And we have a whole bunch of people live with us.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah. So thank you all for joining us.
Thank you guys. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
There'll be some changes here with the show. Some of them will be right away. Some of them won't be right away. We're trying to,
like a soft launch?
No, I meant like we're trying to evolve a little bit.
Yeah.
In a way. So yeah, like today's show is pretty much just going to be a lot of like testing things out. We've tested this thing as many times as we could possibly test it. Mm-hmm. Going through all the different things that we need to do, making sure we're not messing things up, making sure that the audio is all good. But you know, ultimately, until you actually go live and until people actually receive it, you don't really know. So today's it's going to be a little bit of a boring day. Think of it like the first day of school. We're not really going to get anything done. We might go outside and play a little bit. But it's more about just getting to know everybody. We'll do a little bit of group activities. No, we're not doing any group activities. But yeah, today's just kind of about testing things out, just making sure that everything's all working. And then, but for today's episode, what we are going to be getting into is a recent article came out. I believe it was yesterday. Headline says that pretty bold, positive headline says that Edmonton real estate offers strong return on buyer's investment. Mm-hmm. So we'll get into that and what they have to say about that article there. As well, ironically, Gabby and I are actually buying another property. We buy properties all the time. But ironically, we are picking another one up next week.
Yes.
Taking possession of a new property next week. We're pretty excited about that.
I think Wednesday or something like that.
Pardon?
I think on Wednesday or something like that.
Is that when it is?
I think so. I don't know. All I know is today's the 1st.
All you know is that today is the 1st?
Yeah.
Oh, is it rent day?
It is. It's rent day. Happy rent day, everybody.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool. I don't really deal with that, though.
Yes, actually, this for May, we had an insane amount of rent come in early, like within the past week.
What's up with that?
I don't know. I have like a physical rent checklist that like I print out and like physically check like every tenant that has paid rent. Mm-hmm. And I printed it out extra early I'm going to say this month, but like before the month, because so many people were sending in rent that I'm like, okay, well, I guess I better start cashing it and, clearing up this email because it was getting ridiculous with all the e-transfers. So I think it's looking good for all rent coming in.
Well, that's good.
Yeah.
Does that include like the rent-to-own buyers as well? Is that all like in the same list? Like you have it's probably a lot. Like I don't know how you. Yeah, the font size must be like incredibly small on that because like
it's not just one page.
Yeah, I can't imagine it's one page. No, it's probably multiple pages. But that's got to be a pretty stressful part of the month.
No, it's not.
It's not?
No.
Because everybody does what they're supposed to do?
Oh, well, no, I just mean that like I just have a checklist, like I'm prepared. So it's just a matter of like, oh, so and so sent their rent, check, deposit, check. So it's not like I'm like I don't know, like what about it is stressful for you? Just the fact of like, are people going to pay rent or
Having to go through that list and make sure that everyone does it.
oh,
It's a lot. It is a
yeah,
lot of people that send us payments every month.
been doing it a long time.
Yeah, and like I see the emails. I keep my email on. Like I think I talked about this yesterday. I keep
Yeah,
my email on even though I don't really look at it. But I go ba-bing, 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 ba-bing,
yeah,
ba-bing, and you see all the rent coming in. It's pretty cool actually
yeah,
when you stop and think about it. But
yeah. I
um,
see Kyla here says rent goals.
rent goals, yeah. I've always wanted to sum up how much in rent to own, seller financing payments we bring in every month. But I'm just like, whatever. I also just like don't have the time. I think it's one of those things that I'll put like on a sticky note somewhere, like on my desk. I'm like, oh, this would be a fun thing to do, but I just never get around to doing it.
Yeah.
There's just too much other stuff going on. So, um, what did Kenny Rogers say? You don't count your chips at the table.
Okay.
You never count your money when you're sitting at the table. Isn't that how it goes?
Wow. How is it to see this, you know? No longer hidden.
It's really fucking me up right now. First F bomb. First F bomb. I don't have an air horn set up yet. Sorry guys. Well, first air horn will be next week. First F bomb of the show is really fucking me up because okay, you guys can't see what I see right now. But I got our monitor and then I've got the YouTube monitor, which is delayed by 2 seconds. So I've got me, and then I got Wayne from the past. So I got the ghost of the Wayne present,
Spit it out.
and then I'm working on it. And then I've got the ghost of Wayne's past. How does
Yeah,
help me out with the Christmas Carol there thing?
sure. Keep
Okay,
going.
and then I've got all the chat over here, which is an overwhelming amount of emojis being used this morning.
I've never seen
And it's-
our audience so chatty. I
And I
think
don't
they're
have my-
excited about
I don't have my glasses on, so all I see is just a bunch of emojis. I see a duck. I see a congratulations. I see like a flex. I see fire emojis. Yeah. Are you keeping up on the chat? Like, are you able? Maybe you'll do it on your phone.
Yeah, I definitely can't read any of that. My eyesight is not that good. But I see it here. Yeah. Yeah, lots of like there's actually quite a few people here. So obviously Chris, the stinker Chris is with us. He says, "Yeah,
Don't
baby."
call him Chris the Stinker, Chris.
He named himself. It's fine. He also says you both look
That's not his
fantastic.
screen name.
No, it is. It says Stinker Chris. I'm
Is
reading
that-
it right here.
Okay.
Matt is here with us. Says good morning. Little flex
All right.
emoji. Kyla is excited that she found it. Nori says,
Good.
"Let's go," with some fire and some.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
West Coast represent.
Diane's
is that how we
here.
do it? I don't know. I shouldn't be throwing gang symbols on YouTube.
Probably not. Diane says good morning.
That's Wayne.
Patrick is here with us. Says hello, friends.
Good morning.
Yeah. Carmen says good morning. Johan says good morning. Kyla says you guys look fantastic.
Oh,
Thank you.
thank you.
Manny made it. I thought Manny had a safety meeting. Good morning, Manny.
Okay.
Yeah. Dennis is here. Says looking good. Nori says you guys look good on camera.
Thank you. I appreciate it. How was it for you at getting ready for camera?
It was fine. I showered this morning.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I know. I was there.
So yeah, no, not a big deal. I kind of woke up the same time I'm used to waking up, like previous to this. So
Yeah.
it was like whatever.
Yeah. So
yeah.
we're still waking up at the same time, so it's didn't really change things very much.
Yeah. All good.
I think we could probably wake up a little bit later. I don't want to test it too much yet. Like I want to continue to keep waking up at the same time just
Yeah.
to make sure. But we had a lot of extra spare time this morning, and then you're just kind of sitting around, just kind of waiting.
Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I'm thinking that like, maybe I can fill some of that morning time with like getting up. Maybe I can get my workout in before the podcast.
And a shower? You're messing with me right now. You're stressing me out. There's not a chance that that's going to happen.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Calm down.
Okay, so Chris in the chat here says that I labeled him Stinker Chris a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. And he just ran with it. Okay.
Sorry, I just threw a keyboard.
And Mandy is with us and says, long time Spotify listener here with a smiley face, always making me laugh on my drive to work.
Oh,
that's awesome.
Who was it that messaged me yesterday? Sorry that I don't remember who it was. Was it Luke? No. Oh. Luke did message me yesterday, but somebody else messaged me. Who was? And I apologize for forgetting. Oh, it was Chris. It was Stinker Chris. Stinky Chris or Stinker Chris? What do you call him?
Stinker.
Chris is having to listen to today's podcast on Spotify. He had a anniversary yesterday too, by the way.
Yes, happy anniversary.
He says, I look like a maniac howling, laughing in my car with that dryer story. I've gotten quite a few messages like that from people that have told me that, like, that they'll blow milk out of their nose laughing at work and people not understanding what's going on. Yeah. So I appreciate that. I hope that we can still maintain the same level of funny, on video.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm a little off my game. Just constantly looking up at myself is kind of freaking weird. I think I should turn the monitor off is what I should do. That's probably the best bet. But you did say, we were talking about the fact that we are picking up a new property next week. Yeah. Why don't we talk a little bit about that? Why we're picking it up? Obviously, money, profits. But a little bit more of the process and maybe a little bit more about the individual property as well. Take a quick little commercial break. Give this a shot. See if it actually works.
Ooh.
All right, we'll be right back.
You are a professional real estate investor. You are not a professional boxer. And you are definitely not a professional bookkeeper. Enter Fingo. Fingo is a professional bookkeeping service by and for professional real estate investors. Your life just got a whole lot easier, and your profits are ready to soar. Leave the bookkeeping to Fingo so you can focus on what's most important, finding the next deal and raising money for it. Schedule your free consultation at fingo.com.
And it worked. So that's a good start. It's a whole lot of firsts today.
Yeah.
Just to see if things work properly. Hopefully nobody heard us talking through the commercial break.
Yeah. Did you hear us talking?
Yeah, let us know in the chat if you heard us talking during the break. Again, I'm going to let you keep an eye on
the chat.
On the chat, okay. Because it's a little too hard for me to keep up with. There is a lot of chat going on. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Yes, we did pick up a new property. Well, we've picked up a new property. This one, we actually wrote an offer on this property like 2 months ago. At least 2 months ago.
I was gonna say this one's been a really long process.
Yeah.
From when we first found it.
Yeah.
To writing that first offer. What happened?
I don't know.
I feel like
there's been a lot, like we've been picking up a lot of properties in the last year, 2 years.
Yeah.
It's been the second one property's done, I'm on to the next.
On to the next, yeah.
And I'm constantly looking at new ones every week.
But I feel like wasn't this property the one where we wrote an offer and it got rejected and then we came back like a month later or something like that?
Oh yeah, this has been going on for a while actually.
Yeah.
You're right, because
I think it's been going on longer than a couple months.
Okay.
Because it also had a pretty long close too.
Yes. Okay. It's all coming together.
Yeah.
I saw this property. It was listed for way too high, way more than what it should have been listed for. You have a timer going off or something.
Yeah.
I saw this property. It was listed for way more than what it should have been listed for. So I went in and tried to educate them on what their property is worth now. Sometimes that works. Sometimes you can just tell them, hey, appreciate the fact that you think that your property is worth this much.
Mm-hmm.
But unfortunately, this is the comparables. This is what the property is actually worth. And what you normally do is get your realtor, or if it's an off-market property, you get sold comparables, and get your realtor to get all the recently sold properties that are similar to this property and say, hey, this is what other properties similar to this have sold for recently, and therefore that's what your property's worth. Sometimes though, you get sellers that are, you'll get sellers that'll be like, okay, yeah, well, that makes sense. And then you'll get sellers that are just like, no, that's my price.
Yeah.
That's it. I will say that it was a bit of a cultural thing, a very stubborn cultural thing, a different way of negotiating, one that I'm not very comfortable with. I like to be logical. And this negotiation was a very illogical and quite rude negotiation. I don't know. It was, now that it's all coming back to me now, it's like, I didn't like that negotiation very much. Yeah. They were just not reasonable whatsoever. They were like, nope, that's my price, but I'll just sit and wait. Meanwhile, I knew that they were building a property. Like their timeline was, their deadline was creeping. So what I ended up doing is that they weren't budging a penny, and they were overpriced by at least 10,000. But I had enough proof and reference to be able to say that it was overpriced by at least 30. I was willing to pay. Actually, to be honest with you, I would have paid what they were listing for, to be honest with you. Can I be honest?
Number still worked, and it was completely worth it. But the anchor that I was working with was the recently sold comparables, which were significantly lower. Now I knew that that's what the value was as far as like an appraisal goes, and what most people would look at. But I also knew that this property were significantly more compared to everything else. So I was really leaning in on the sold comparables, and using that. And they should have been using that as well. They don't know what I know. They don't know what the actual true value of it is. But they just were not budging whatsoever. So anyways, long story short, first part of the story is that, yes, we did walk away. Yeah. We did walk away from this property. We decided that it just wasn't worth continuing to negotiate with these people. They weren't having it. And not to mention the fact that there was a bunch of stuff that like needed to be done inside of it. And I knew that like, even if I did get an offer and I went back and tried to negotiate more on the, after the inspection on negotiate like on the things that need to be repaired, they were never going to bite. Yeah. They were never going to bite. So I'm like, I just don't see any future in this deal. Yeah. Fast forward like 3 to 4 weeks, I went back to that deal and it was still sitting there. Yeah. And you think after 4 weeks and nobody biting on it, you think that somebody, you think that a seller would lower the price? No. Or that maybe they would have come back to us, like the only other offer that they've received, right?
You would think. Yeah. You would think, but they didn't. And so part of me was like, screw these guys. I'm not even going to bother wasting my time. But then like there was something inside of me that was like, okay, Wayne, check your ego. Just give it one last shot. So we ended up going back again and giving it another crack. As you could probably guess, they did not bite whatsoever. And then I just planted firm and said, this is the price. And then I don't know how, by some divine intervention, they said, we'll meet you here at this price. And to be honest with you, it was a lot of ego in there. It was a lot of ego because, like, for me, I'm just like, these motherfuckers. And you can see me swearing. This is what it looks like when I swear. These motherfuckers, okay, were so stubborn. Part of me wanted to say, screw you. I hope your property just sits on the market for months. I know that doesn't sound very nice, but, like, these people were so incredibly unreasonable. Yeah. But I checked my ego and and we took an offer that was reasonable. Now again, like, to be honest with you, it was about 5% less than list price. So that's pretty awesome.
Yep.
Like on the MLS, 5% less than list price. You know what I mean? But it was like 10% more than the comps.
Right.
So it really bugged me. But it was probably 10% lower than what the actual real true market value is. Are you guys following on that one? You can go back and rewind it afterwards if you need to. I still got a 10% deal on it as to what it's actually worth. So I'm happy with it. I was just like, I was rubbed the wrong way about the whole process. And so one of their conditions was that they wanted a long close. And they said, how long are you willing to give us? I think their actual words were like, hey, can we just let you know when we're ready to move out? And I'm like, no, I'm not going to let that happen.
Yeah.
And so they didn't bring that up until obviously we had the accepted offer. We did the inspection. I went back, tried to get stuff off for like about $2,000-$3,000 worth of just minor stuff needed to be done. Nope, not having it. Nope, they were still continued their same thing. No, we already took a bunch off the price. We're not. No, you can walk. They were so incredibly stubborn. And then once that all passed, that's when they asked me, hey, can we do a longer close? Can you extend the close? And I'm like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. You can go live in a hotel. I don't care. I'm so bothered by the way that they treat us. And I'm only telling like a quarter of the story. So I'm really, what's the word I'm looking for? The whole experience just was not good for me. And so that's why I'm really pissy about it. But as we got closer, so I ended up giving them 60 days, which is quite long.
It's very long. Like when you get an accepted offer on a property, normally it's like, I feel like we're so used to the other end of it where people want you to take possession as quickly as possible.
Yeah.
I feel like that's more common than how long will you give me? I guess it depends if it's like a homeowner trying to buy a new property or trying to build or like that type of thing versus, let's say, an investor selling an investment property where they're like, take it off my hands, right?
Yeah. Well,
or it's vacant, like maybe the homeowner's already moved out or the rental property is vacant and they're like, take it because I'm paying holding costs right now. I'm paying my mortgage. I'm paying utilities. I'm paying insurance on this vacant property. So typically it's like, how quickly can you take possession?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I thought 60 days was reasonable. Way more reasonable than they were with us. But I said, that's max. And it actually lined it up perfectly because what are we taking possession? Like I
think the 6th.
The 6th of May?
Yeah, I think it's Wednesday.
That was a sweet spot for me because I'm going to get possession. Sometimes there's delays. And then I get in there and there's normally like $2,000 to $3,000 worth of work that needs to get done on every property as soon as you take possession of it. And that's just a great tip for you guys to take with you today is that if you just think that it's just my down payment and my reserve fund and everything's just going to be turn the key and rent it out, it's never that way. Just one example right out of the gate is like a seller never professionally cleans a property
Rarely, yeah.
When they move out. They move out and like all of their dust from underneath the couch and behind the tables and everything else and the scuffs behind, everything, it's all there. Right? When you go in and all their stuff's inside, obviously you're not going to see all that stuff. You're not going to see the scuffs behind the couch on the wall. You're not going to see the 4-year-old McDonald's French fries. You're not going to see the, you know what I mean? Like you're also not going to see like all the crumbs that are left inside the pantry. So when they move out, they might give it a little sweep, but they never clean. So there's probably like $500-$600 worth of cleaning there. Is that exaggerated or is that accurate?
4 or 5.
Yeah, $400 or $500 worth of cleaning. So there you go, right out of the gate. That's a cost. That's an expense. Then you got all of your, wall scuffs and things like that. I hope that a magic eraser will get most of it out, but it might require some wall touch-ups, some gouges when they were moving out their bed frame.
Yeah.
So that right there is like, almost $1,000 right out the gate. Then you've got like broken electrical covers. light switch plates, outlet plates, those types of things. You've got
Maybe some outlets that don't work.
maybe some outlets that don't work.
Need to
You know,
be
in this
replaced,
case with this property here, like there was a bunch of just random stuff that was done improperly or broken, or lights that didn't work, outlets that didn't work, and they were like, no, we're not doing it. So I got to send an electrician in for about 2 hours, 3 hours to go and replace those things. Maybe the light fixtures aren't matching. I got to go and maybe match all the light fixtures because they're all over the place. Maybe the light bulbs aren't matching either.
Mm-hmm.
Now, it's an expensive thing for it to have pay an electrician $80 an hour to go and replace light bulbs, but ultimately, this is the little random stuff you got to deal with on almost every property.
Yeah.
Almost every property you buy. And then that doesn't include the things that need repair. Maybe some plumbing leaks and things like that. Maybe some handles that are loose. So you normally send in a handyman for like half a day.
Mm-hmm.
Normally that's what ends up happening. We get a property, you send a handyman in for half a day. He charges $50-$60 an hour or something like that, plus supplies. So, another $500 there. And you can see it just kind of adds up and adds up and adds up. So with this property, that's the reason why I brought all that up, is because I need my electrician to get in there. I need my plumber to get in there. I need my handyman to get in there. Might have to do a little bit of painting, maybe even some flooring replacement. If I can get the 6th of May, that gives me a week to get that stuff done. Then I still got 2 weeks left with May to hopefully find a tenant for June.
Yeah.
Now, had I taken May 21st or May 22nd, then obviously that's going to put me at a weird time, because I'm going to have 7 days for all the repairs and stuff. I'm not going to have enough time to fill it for June 1st. I have a significantly longer vacancy period because I'm going to have all of June, which would be vacant because I couldn't find a tenant. Mm. But because of the 6th, it's like that perfect sweet spot of like reducing the amount of vacancy costs to the lowest amount, right?
Yeah.
So that's why we want the 6th. That's why I chose the 6th. That's why I didn't give 65 days, 70 days. I gave 60 days, which lined it up perfectly with that.
Mm-hmm.
I got a message yesterday. This is the second time they've done this now in the last 60 days, by the way. I think it was like 2 weeks after we removed conditions. They asked, hey, by chance, is there any way we can push that possession day to May 28th, May 29th? I'm going to sound like a big stinker here and even more of an asshole. But when I saw that message, I legit went like this.
Oh, you need something from me now?
Oh, you need something from me? You motherfuckers. Those guys were so difficult to deal with. So completely unreasonable. And now they want something from me? My response, and I know this does not sound very good, my response was, sure, $5,000.
But if you think about it,
I was so excited when that happened. I'm just like, yes, finally. It's ironic. Okay, you say what you're going to say.
well, I was going to say, if you think about it, after everything that you just explained, Wayne, about how May 6th is our sweet spot because we need to go in and do a little bit of work. Plus, it gives us time to, find a suitable tenant to place for June 1st. If you think about it, if that pushed us out, to the end of the month, we're actually losing like a week.
Yeah.
Right. Of like you could think of it in two ways. You can think of it as like, oh, you're just into a different month instead of like, losing an actual month. Mm-hmm. But for us, it's like we wanted that optimal amount of time. So you can look at it as also a financial. It's like that's what kind of like a month of vacancy and everything else you put us through.
Yeah, thank you for saying that, because that is the
trying to back you up a little bit here.
No, I appreciate that, and it looks like I got some people backing me up. Kirsten backing me up, and Chris is backing me up. So I appreciate that. I think it's completely reasonable. Now, there's two parts to that. One is that it is costing me an extra week, which ends up, I think, with this property, if I were to add it up with some math, it would probably be about $500. But the other part of it was just like, how could you be so incredibly rude and unreasonable and then ask me for something afterwards?
Yeah. And honestly, if this was any other property and the types of issues that did come up in the inspection, A normal, reasonable person would have either said, I'll fix those before possession, and we
Yeah.
could have written that into the agreement, or they would have taken some money off. Like, these are things that should have been fixed before handing it off to a new buyer.
Yeah.
So, but they were so like, no, 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 that we just finally accepted it. We were the ones who gave in and accepted it, right?
Yeah.
And kind of like, took it on as our own cost.
Yeah.
So if you need a favor, then we're going to take back what's owed to us,
Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so we never got a response on that. And I didn't need a response.
Yeah.
The no response was the best response. It was actually fantastic.
Yeah.
But it was actually yesterday we got another request. And now we're
Less than a week.
It was 6 days away from closing.
Yeah.
So on Thursday, we got a request to move the possession day of next Wednesday by 2 weeks, I think.
Yeah, I can't remember, like the 21st
Maybe it's like
or something.
maybe it's 16th or 17th or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't quite recall. I didn't say anything, actually. This time around, like I already said what I needed to say. I didn't actually even respond. And they're what they're saying is that their house is not going to be ready for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And in my mind, you know what I mean? Like they didn't even come back after I said 5,000. They could have said 2,500. I probably would have said yes.
Yeah.
Not going to lie.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There is a cost associated with, like Gabby said, but then there's also like me, like I need to win. I need a little win on this one. It's
upper hand.
Little upper hand on this one. Because I don't have to accept it. That's the thing. We have a contractual agreement that says that my possession date is on the 6th.
Yeah.
I don't have to agree to anything.
Yeah. But the other thing with this particular situation that I chatted with you, Wayne, about yesterday when that message came through was that this has already been signed with the lawyers. The mortgage paperwork has already been handled and dealt with. Insurance has already been set up. Like there's all these things that have already happened where if we're to move this, it's actually going to cost more in legal and all that kind of stuff. So it's like, not only are you asking us for a favor, but you're asking for us to increase our costs of what this is going to take. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if they follow up on it or if they let it go and figure out a solution for themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in no rush. Ultimately the ball's in their court, right? Yeah. And I don't need to do anything else about it. So ironically yesterday though, I'll just add this part as I finish up the story. 2 days ago, so the day before this happened, we were driving. Can't remember where we were driving from. Probably soccer, because that's anytime I'm driving to soccer. Taking my kid to soccer, which I love, by the way. It's not a complaint. That's just my life. We were driving, and we were driving in rush hour. One thing that I love that we don't have to deal with anymore now that we're, like full-time real estate investors, entrepreneurs, that I don't deal with rush hour anymore. Anyways, I was stuck in a long lineup, and we were trying to get to like an on-ramp. And there was about 4 cars. Normally you have like a lane, and then like the lane gets to a point where you can access the additional lane that gets you to the, to the turning lane. Well, anyways, there's 4 cars, and the one in the front was a little, he could have moved up, but it wouldn't have solved anything behind. You know what I mean? Nobody else could have gotten through into that lane. Well, anyways, Mr. Berta, we'll call him Mr. Berta.
Big truck.
Big truck. Big attitude. Mr. Berta was not happy because he was the 5th car in the lineup. We were the 4th. Mr. Berta decides to go and take the curb, go around me, kind of go into the parking lot entrance, which is right here, then speed up and hop onto the other curb, passing all 4 cars, driving on the grass, and to get
This wasn't just a curb. It was like a grass hill curb. So he's up on an angle on driving on the grass.
Yeah. Yeah. It built Ford tough. That's what this guy.
People are wondering what the point of the story is. I
I'm
didn't
getting
know
there.
where you were going
I'm getting
for,
there.
for a minute there.
This might be the first video show, but this is not the first story that's lasted 25 fucking minutes that doesn't seem like it's part of the story. My daughter in the back seat in the cutest way. What the fuck?
Literally.
She lives.
Also, this guy is on the grass driving by every single car with his finger out the window. At every car he passes.
At every car he passes. My daughter lives in somewhat of a bubble. She's homeschooled. She's not a bubble girl at all. She's very much in tune with us. She's been raised by us. She's a very rational person. She's not exposed to people like that very often. So just imagine living in a world where you don't deal with people like that on a regular basis. You don't deal with rush hour traffic and idiots. My daughter was like, what the fuck is that guy's problem? Like, why is he so angry? And Gabby proceeded to tell Everly, our daughter, about the phenomenon called karma. And she's like, karma will get him. Yeah. And so I'm explaining what karma is without saying that, like, you know, basically to sum it up, the world kind of comes around to people like that. If you put out positive energy, constantly positive, it just kind of compounds over time, and more people will receive your positivity. They'll pass on positivity, and you just hope that the world has more positivity than negativity. That guy right there chose negativity, and he chose to ruin potentially 4 people's days. Not mine. Not happening.
I were laughing.
I laughed, and my daughter couldn't quite understand why I was laughing because I was like, "Oh, that guy's getting fucked in the ass later."
Whoa.
The world is going to fuck him in the ass later at some point.
Okay, stop saying that. Please.
If you keep putting out that type of energy, you can expect that energy coming back. Jesus. You can expect it, right? So I'm laughing because, sorry, just real quick, there's a 2-second delay, and I got to watch myself do that again 2 seconds later, just doing this. I thought that was really funny. I'm laughing because I'm like, this guy is if he hasn't already, it's going to happen again. Now, I didn't explain it to my daughter that way, but I said, you know what, just people like that, they tend to get what's coming to them. And I find a lot of peace and comfort in knowing that guy's life is probably very difficult for him because this is the type of life he chooses to live.
Yeah. And the thing about karma is that you just got to trust it because you're not always going to see somebody's karma get them. You just need to trust that it's in play and that it's going to work out.
I have faith in karma.
Yeah.
I have faith in karma. So it was really cool to share that with my daughter. So the next day, here's where the 20-minute story comes back. So the next day, I get a text from Calvin, our realtor in Edmonton. And that happened. And I pulled my daughter over and I said, I want to share something with you. She was in the middle of doing her schoolwork. And I'm like, I'm going to pull you away from schoolwork. I'm going to teach you about how karma is coming back now. So these people here were incredibly rude. They were completely unreasonable. And I tried to work with them. I tried to be a reasonable person, but they were just not willing to just accept their responsibilities. And here's what's happening now. And I got to explain to her how karma is biting these guys in the butt. And how now they're stuck in a situation where had they actually approached us from the beginning in a reasonable way and said, hey, I got to be honest with you. You know, I think that we price this accordingly. I think that, yes, I understand that a few things need to be repaired, but we factor that into the price. And then we think that you got a really good deal and we really need this money for our next house.
Or had they negotiated with us and come down on the price, even a little bit, yeah, in a nice way, in a nice negotiation, we would have had a totally different taste in our mouth.
Yeah.
And when this happened, we would have been like, well, they were super reasonable with us. Let's be reasonable with them. Yeah. Right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. It would have been totally fine. But they didn't. And I said, they put out negativity. And I'm not trying to orchestrate karma. I'm not trying to fulfill karma. What I'm trying to show you is that because of what they did to me, this is how I'm feeling.
It made me feel a certain way. Yeah.
This is a direct reflection of their negativity, which is causing negativity towards them.
Yeah.
Had they approached it differently, it would have been a completely different outcome for them. And I would have been completely understanding and okay with the fact that, yeah, maybe I got an extra week or two worth of vacancy. It's going to cost me $500 or $1,000. I probably wouldn't even put it together mathematically. I would have just been like, yeah, that's completely reasonable. Hey, I understand the situation that you're in, and I'm a good person. I will pay it forward.
Yeah.
But I'm not going to, right? And it was really cool that I was able to teach my daughter that in the moment, to actually, like right there a day after.
How you treat people is how they'll treat you back. And
absolutely.
Yeah, we can call it karma, but really it's just well, I mean, there is the energy output, but there's also just how you make people feel.
Yeah.
Right?
Absolutely.
How you make people feel is how they'll go out into the world and treat other people too.
Yeah. So I got to teach our daughter a pretty valuable lesson about being a good person.
Yeah.
And
it even stemmed into, like, I heard you say, I was in my office, but I was overhearing. I heard you say, like, when, like, I'm in a bad mood, then I put mom in a bad mood, then she puts you in a bad mood. And it all stemmed from just me being in a bad mood.
Yeah.
He's like, unfortunately, that's also, so like we got to, take it in different directions and show how, how you act and how you carry yourself really impacts your life in a big way.
Yeah.
Right?
It was also really cool just in that moment when it happened, that the guy with the truck, the fact that she reacted that way, she reacted in a way that that wasn't normal for her.
Which I love. And
it gives me a lot of hope.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That she said,
knew how
that's not okay.
Yeah, that was.
That's not okay. That is not a reasonable way for someone to act in society, to treat other people, right? And even just like our core values here with the way that we operate our business in real estate investing. And this is something that, I was always a good person, but the motto or the word I'm missing, mantra that we always follow is think win-win. And that, pulling that directly from Barry McGuire and Donna McGuire, and the way that they led their education in real estate investing and the way that they taught us is that when you're doing real estate, don't beat people up, especially when it comes to creative real estate, joint ventures, seller financing, rent to own, fix and flips, wholesaling, the creative stuff. Normally there's someone on the other side who is getting a little bit less or a lot less. And it's all about finding that balance of making sure that everybody wins. Everybody gets the outcome that's best for them. Yeah. And there is a way to invest in real estate without beating people up. And that is how I approach real estate investing. Yeah. I don't go after properties where I'm going to make a ton of money, but somebody else is going to lose. I think that there is definitely a way, there is 1,000% a way to invest. And we teach our students this, how to invest in real estate without beating people up. And we do it every day. We are living proof of it. Yeah. Now, there's a lot of people out there that choose greed and that choose to make money without taking other people into consideration. Yeah. And I'm really proud of how it is that we operate and how it is that we teach our students.
I think it's really cool just, going through that, listening to you talk about that, Wayne, is that, like Barry and Donna McGuire were our biggest mentors in the real estate world. Was that fair to
100%.
say?
Oh, well, they were role models.
Yes. Yeah.
They were perfect role models. They are perfect role models.
Yeah, still to this day. And they're still very much in our lives, and we love the crap out of them. And I think it's really cool to have mentors and role models who can instill something that is so important to you and that you hold so dearly, and drilling in that win-win, that it becomes who we are and how we operate our business. And now we get to mentor people with the same, teaching them to always play for win-win, and that gets to get carried down and drilled into their businesses and how they operate. And I love that. I guess like that's not necessarily you know, we were just talking about karma. That's not really karma, but that shows how the energy you put into the world can continue on and can spitball and can become how many people operate their lives, because there's a role model to start somewhere and say, this is how we should do business.
Yeah.
Right.
I know I sounded a little hypocritical with my story before that and calling the people motherfuckers, and it didn't really blend very well, those two stories there. But the truth is that I think the fact that I was so bothered by it was the fact that they were so completely unreasonable, similar to how my daughter reacted to the way that person was driving and treating other people driving by and giving them the finger.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's not cool. This is not how we do business. This is not the way to do it. There has to be some form of compromise. This is a deal, and in every deal there needs to be some form of compromise. I was willing to compromise, but they were just like, nope, not a chance.
Yeah.
They felt that they held all the cards, they held all the leverage, and then the second that they didn't, I reminded them that this is not cool how you operate. And in a way, you know, it's probably not the best. You know, responding to negativity with negativity is probably not the best approach. It is definitely not the best approach. It's not the best way to balance the scales. However, I am human. And it just goes to show that positivity is more important.
Yeah.
Fuck, maybe I will change the date. I don't know. Now I'm feeling bad as I say all this.
Matt here in the comments says, I believe in karma heavily as well. I found $160 on the ground at work last night, hoping to find which one of the boys dropped it instead of just taking it.
That's
I love
awesome.
That. Yeah.
That's awesome.
It's not just, and that's not just like an energy exchange of karma, but it's also like, you know, whoever's it is going to be so gassed that, and also like it can fill up their gas tank too. But they're going to be so gassed that money is returned to them, and they're going to, I mean, like, I'm sure Matt's an amazing person, so I'm sure they already love him, but it's like how people look at you like, oh my God, like he is such a good guy. He's such a good person, and really like instills that in how people treat you. Right.
Yeah, absolutely. We did say that we were going to talk about, we're limited on commercial breaks today. So, you know, we don't have our normal cuts. So today was pretty, today was a trial run for us, the actual first live show. And I think it's going pretty well.
Me too. I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. But I did say that we were going to, there was an article that came out. Mm-hmm. And it was an article about Edmonton, and the headline was actually Edmonton real estate offers strong return on buyer's investment. So that's pretty cool. I mean, I already knew that, but let's see what they say on what this article says about Edmonton specifically and why they think it's a great place to be investing. It says Edmonton homebuyers have experienced a lot of good financial vibes in the last few years.
That's such a funny sentence. A lot of good financial vibes. Like, who wrote this? Sorry.
Claude.
First line, and I'm already picking it apart.
Yeah, no, I hate reading these articles. You know that. But I think what I want to do is, we've talked about this before, and I'll say it real fast before I get into it. It's not the actual article or the words or what the opinions of these so-called experts are. Yeah. It is how it makes other people feel.
Yeah.
And who reads these types of articles? Well, new investors, amateur investors, home buyers, and it will dictate how they, or influence how they act in the market. Mm-hmm. If someone sees a headline that says Edmonton real estate offers strong return on buyer's investment, and I'm going to get into some of the numbers that they throw in here as well. Mm-hmm. That's going to make someone want to buy a property right now. Maybe if they were thinking about buying their first home or buying their first investment property and they were wondering about Edmonton, this article right here might be the article that they share with their wife or their husband that instantly gets them to suddenly be like, okay, let's do it. Call up the realtor, right? So this can have an influence, a dramatic influence on the market. So I'm looking for how people react to articles like this. Right. If this article had said Edmonton real estate is dead, that could completely stop home buyers in their tracks in arguably one of the most important months of the year, which is May. That's when everything really just starts picking up. It starts blowing up in the real estate market. Could turn it into a slow market, could stall, offers, could stall prices, even drop prices. This is very influential. So even though I don't believe anything that they say here or any of these experts as actual experts, how people read this is more important. Yeah. And because it'll give you a good idea what to expect. A new study has quantified just how much return on investment buyers are getting over the past 5 years. This expert study is from Zoocasa. I can't take that website seriously. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Zoocasa recently published a report measuring the return on investment for buyers who purchased in May 2020.
Okay.
Oh, I already know these numbers are going to be crazy.
Yeah. There were some deals to be had in May 2020.
What kind of, based on the original minimum down payment? Looking at major Canadian markets, the study found Edmonton buyers would have seen a $26,400 return per $100,000 invested. Some of this isn't going to make sense, actually. Ranking middle of the pack among other cities. Edmonton is often overlooked because it doesn't reach the high peak prices of Toronto, Vancouver, or even Calgary. Yet its quiet strength offers a blend of growth and stability long term. The study looked at the minimum down payment required to purchase the average priced home in May of 2020. By the way, if any of this if I'm going too fast in this and it's just going over people's heads, I'll just get you to kind of help me out with that and keep an eye on the chat. And then what it did is it looked at the gain in equity after 5 years. The price in February this year versus the original price. Okay. So what they're doing is they're taking May 2020 to February of 2026.
And see what kind of growth in the prices there's been.
Yeah, in equity build. I don't know if that includes mortgage paid on or not, to be honest with you.
I don't think so. I think they're just talking about equity.
Just appreciation.
Appreciation. Yeah.
Okay. In 2020, an Edmonton buyer would require a 5% down payment of approximately $17,000. The lowest among all major markets.
Yep.
And that was to purchase a property that was an average price of around, say, $357,000. Again, which was the lowest in the study at the time. Over the next 5 years, their equity would have increased about $94,000 based on the average price of about $452,000, according to Canadian Real Estate Association data for February of this year. So the average price 6 years ago, well, that's just 5 years.
2020. It's now 2026.
Yeah.
Oh, it says 5 years.
Yeah, okay, whatever. So the average price in 2020 was $357,000. The average price now is $452,000. That is a roughly 528% return on their down payment.
Okay. So they're doing their math based on the money that you actually invested in on the down payment.
The down payment compared to the appreciation over the last 5 years, a 528% return on their investment. That's pretty phenomenal. Yeah. I already knew that.
Yeah.
I already knew that.
It's over 100% a year.
Double your money every year.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah.
Although a sound investment, Edmonton buyers' return did not rank among the highest in Canada. The capital city's southern neighbor, Calgary, topped the list. Well, yeah.
Obviously.
Calgary did way better. If you listen back to previous episodes, you'll know exactly what it is I'm talking about. They had a bigger run back in 2022 to 2024.
Yeah.
They're in Calgary. Buyers in 2020 would have seen a return on investment of $49,700 per $100,000 invested.
So I think Edmonton was like $26,000.
Yeah, something like that. And theirs was based off a $21,000 investment. That would have. Oops, what happened here?
There.
Where am I? I lost my spot.
Right you are. Yeah.
Right here?
Yeah.
That would have been a 5%. Where am I?
Yep.
Yeah, that would be 5% of the average priced home at the time, which was $422,000 in Calgary. And by February, February of this year, that investment would have gained $210,000 in profits.
Wow.
Which is a 994% return on investment.
Yeah, that's insane, but that tracks.
Can we round it up for the love of God?
Yeah.
Can we round it up to 1,000% return in 5 years?
Yeah.
We've done very well.
Yeah.
We've done very well in Calgary and Edmonton, not gonna lie. And we're still on an upward trend, by the way.
Yes.
We still, Edmonton, Calgary's kind of done for a little while. You'll see modest returns or increases here, like your average 2 or 3% for the coming years. But we were so underpriced. Keep in mind, it even said in this article, we were so underpriced compared to all other markets in the rankings that we knew it was coming. We had to. There was an adjustment coming.
Yeah.
And Edmonton is only halfway there. Keep in mind, Calgary had the huge swing between 2002 and 2024. Edmonton stalled because of the interest rates. So Edmonton's only halfway there. I'm not going to get into the details of how much more it's going to go and why and how I know all those things. You want to learn about that? We got a great mentorship program. Our students know. Our students understand this history. They understand the trends. They understand how and why it all works.
Yeah.
Feel free to put your hand up in the chat, or those that are in the REI Masters Mentorship Program. You guys know exactly what I'm talking about. We are still on an upward trend, but I'll give you guys that for free. Is that there is still a lot of room to grow in this, and it just goes to show right there. Actually, what was the difference there? There was a $210,000 gain, and what was Edmonton's gain? $94,000. Is that not half?
Yeah.
I didn't even put that together there. It literally, is that not half? We are halfway there. Okay. Anyways, I'll just leave it at that. Because, oh wow, we're almost at the end of the hour.
Yeah.
It talks a little bit about Vancouver as well.
Yeah. Says Vancouver fared the worst.
Vancouver was the worst? We'll just leave it at that with the article. I mean, you got the point of it, but ultimately, the article basically says that Edmonton has done very well. Calgary's obviously done very well as well. And I mean, I don't really trust the article so much because of the fact that, like, it's not talking about right now. It's talking about what happened. So assuming that it's going to continue to keep going based off of their data.
Right. It's basically saying if you invested in May of 2020, you did really well. Right. It's not saying that, like, moving forward, or that right now people who are investing right now are doing really well. I mean, we know that there's fantastic opportunities. We've been talking about them, but this is very much looking at the past article. Yeah.
Absolutely.
And the title is kind of misleading in that sense. Like, what was the title again? Edmonton investors. Let's see. What does it say? Edmonton real estate offers strong return on buyer's investment. It sounds very present.
Yeah, it does sound very present
for looking at past data.
Yeah. So, okay. So let's analyze this really quickly, because how does the average muggle read this? How does the average home buyer read this? How do they interpret that? How does the new real estate investor or the amateur real estate investor interpret that? They see that and they're like, finally, I knew I was right. I knew that market's hot. Honey, let's go. And then they go and they buy a house or they buy their first investment property, right? So who's reading through that? I couldn't even stomach getting through the first 3 paragraphs. But then again, I have a short attention span and I also know it's all bullshit. But most people don't have the attention span to read through that. They're going to read the first paragraph. They're going to see the picture, then the little subtitle, and then the actual title. That's all they're going to read. So with that information alone, I believe it could go 2 ways, to be honest with you, on how someone would interpret that. I think that one type of person would be like, oh, this is good. Okay, this is what I thought. Yeah, no, it's good. I'm going to go and invest there because everybody's doing it there. And look, they made 1,000% return in Calgary. So Edmonton must be going up, right? So I think that most people will look at it that way. I think that other people, the negative people, will look at it and be like, yeah, well, must be nice.
I guess I missed the boat.
I'll try and find the next one. And they won't do it. So it's hard to say how somebody would interpret that. I think that more people would lean towards the positive side of it and then jump in, hoping for great returns. Mm-hmm. Which I think is really good. I think an article like that on May 1st is really good for us. I mean, depends on where you're at and what you're trying to accomplish right now with real estate investing. Do you own lots of properties, or are you trying to buy properties? If you're trying to buy properties right now, when arguably it's the most popular time to be buying properties, everybody's out, everybody's writing offers, the sun is shining. In Edmonton, at least, it's 22 degrees or something like that today. Everybody's out, everybody's looking. And then you got all these other people that are coming in as well. The demand's going to be so high, and now you're going to be fighting people.
Yeah.
So that's not very good. But if you own properties like myself, I absolutely love it. So you're going to win regardless. You're going to win if you own properties, or you're going to sorry, you only win if you own properties. But where was I going with that? I had a point, but I lost it. And if the values aren't if there isn't demand, then obviously that's when, like, it really just depends on what you're trying to do. I guess what I'm getting at is that, like, if there's no demand, then buy. If there is demand, then hopefully you bought before, and then you realize all the appreciation.
Yeah.
I'll just say this, that, like, I've known all this stuff because I keep track. I don't keep track with, like, our portfolio and how well it's hard to track your portfolio as a whole when you bought properties over different periods of times, different types of, like, and then they're financed differently. And so to say, like, my portfolio had an increase of, it did 174% ROI this year. Well, that might just be this year, but previously, how do I word this?
In different, basically following the trends of, like, mortgage rates. It's like, during 1, 3, or 5 year period, you might have been at a 6% interest rate where your returns might have been less versus next
year. Annualized over a 15-year period, it doesn't look all that good. But then again, you might have a really, really good year this year because there was a ton of demand and the prices went up. So it's really hard to measure it. And then, of course, you bought properties at different times. So analyzing and, I guess, putting together what your portfolio returns are is a little bit difficult with real estate.
Yeah.
It's easy to put a rough number to it, but I know that in the last 2 years, we've had tremendous returns. Yeah. And, since 2023, that's when I really started ramping up buying rental properties again. We were still buying rental properties between 2020 and 2023, but 2021 and 2023, but because of the interest rates, it was making it very difficult.
Yeah.
It was making it very difficult to be able to ride out that storm. It just didn't seem right. And when the interest rates were going up, I'll end here in just a minute. When the interest rates were going up, it wasn't like, oh, there's blood in the streets, it's a really good time to buy. It took a little while for the deals to start showing up.
Yes.
In Edmonton.
Yeah.
It wasn't like immediately in 2022 or even, early 2023, there was an amazing opportunity because the interest rates were just going like this. It's constantly going up and up and up and up and up. And there was a little bit of uncertainty to it, but what we were waiting for was a certain tipping point or a stalling point where the interest rates stopped going up. Then it was like, okay, now it's time to buy. We've reached the bottom, essentially. Because we were constantly getting 0.5% increases for like a year and a half. And there was no sign of it slowing down. And then eventually it was like, I think it was like May or June of 2023, where they said they're going to hold the interest rates, the overnight lending rate. And that was the moment I was like, everybody buy. If you look back, June of 2023, I put a post out, I said, go buy rental properties right now. Go buy as many as you can. Because that was the moment where, like, that was the bottom. That was where you could be the most competitive, you could be the most aggressive on your offers, and you could just start buying, because the second it's holding right now, and it ended up holding for like June, July, and then it was like October or November, we finally had the first 0.25% decrease. That's when instantly everybody starts showing up again. It's like, oh, it's coming down. So there was a pocket there during the end of the summer and in the fall where you could pick up properties. And I'm trying to buy as many as I could. So between 2023 and now, I've been buying way more than I ever have. I think just in the last, 18, 24 months, we bought like $6 million worth of real estate. Like we've added like $6 million worth of real estate. I don't know how much it's been since 2023, maybe like 8, 9, 10, something like that worth of real estate. You could just imagine the returns just in appreciation, like the numbers they're talking about with appreciation over the last few years and the appreciation we're expecting to receive here in the next, couple of years as well as it continues to rise, the returns are going to be phenomenal. And that's just on appreciation. But if you think about it, now let's just say, the $6 million we picked up in the last, almost 2 years. We only own half of that, keep in mind, because that's with joint venture partners. With that, I only hold $3 million of that. But if you think about it, it's kind of cool. And to me, it's quite normal because we've just done it for so long and been doing joint ventures and buying real estate and tens of millions of dollars worth of real estate. It's pretty normal for me, but I had a moment the other day where I was like, it actually is pretty cool that like I'm able to use other people's money to acquire assets worth, say, $3 million worth of real estate. People would kill to have an investment portfolio that was worth that. Now, mine's worth significantly more, but just in the last almost 2 years, $3 million added to the portfolio. How many people invest in stocks and crypto and things like that where they save and they scrounge for years to save up $50,000, place it into the market? Gosh, I hope it goes up. I hope I get a 10% return, right?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, we've added $3 million into our portfolio. And when we get a 10% return, that's going to be a lot bigger than the 10% return on the $50,000. And that's going to grow a lot faster. And that's just an appreciation. That doesn't include the mortgage getting paid down and building equity. That doesn't include the cash flow as well. Those are phenomenal numbers. And I want you guys to know that that's something that you could do too. You don't have to save your way into building up a real estate portfolio. You can partner with other people who have money, get them to bring the money, and then you get to leverage and benefit from half of the returns that it comes from. It's a powerful tool. Talking about win-win earlier, Imagine you were able to help someone that you cared about, a friend or a family member, where you can help them get into this because you've done all this research. You're showing up, you're alive, you're learning for free every morning. You joined our mentorship program. You learned how to do it properly. Learn how to buy the right properties. You learn how to follow the cash flow test. You understand the fundamentals. You get to share that with somebody else and split in the profits of it. It's not unrealistic to build a multi-million-dollar real estate portfolio in a few years. It's not. In fact, it's not that many properties, depending on how you structure it too, depending on how big the properties are, depending on how much they cost. But the more assets you have in your portfolio, the more access you have to leverage that and to get those returns and to realize those returns. If you just buy one $100,000 property, or just buy one $100,000 door, multifamily door, you only have access to $100,000 worth of, you only get to realize $100,000. You only get to realize returns on the $100,000, but the more you have access to, the bigger it gets. And I hope that inspires some of you guys to go out and maybe have some conversations with some people that you care about today. I know you guys know how to do the joint ventures. For those of you guys that have been listening for a long time, we talk about this stuff on a regular basis.
Yeah.
Partnerships. Partnerships are the way to grow in real estate. Finding people we have a relationship with that would like to invest in real estate, but just don't really know how or don't really have the time. It is a tremendously It is a tremendous opportunity.
Yes.
For all of you guys. Please don't just save your way into getting into real estate. It is the slowest and frankly the dumbest approach. People don't realize until later on, years later. I didn't realize it for 3 years. It was like, well, I was trying to do it all on my own. I was trying to figure it all out, trying to save my way into growing a real estate portfolio. And then you save and you get $50,000. And then that allows you to buy a $250,000 asset. Wonderful. You have a $250,000 portfolio. But if you spent those 3 years building relationships with people and you were able to find 5 joint venture partners who all brought $50,000, you'd have a lot more. You'd have a lot bigger of a portfolio, right? So I'm excited. I know my returns have been fucking phenomenal here in the last few years. I mean, overall, over the last 15, just our portfolio is just, we've never lost money. It's always been in the positive. We've never had less than 20% returns every year. Never had less than 20% returns in a boring market. Now, of course, recently, these past few years, we're over 100% and yada, yada. But, that's just because of those big upticks. But I tell you, real estate's, it's crazy. And it is so incredibly cool what you can accomplish if you put yourself out there and you do the work. So thank you guys so much for joining us on our first video podcast. If you guys want to learn more about this kind of stuff, learning about raising money, choosing the right properties, anything, fix and flips, multifamily, rent to own, BRRRRs, seller financing. That's what the show's all about, right? We're here to help you build your portfolio. We're here to help you do it right, do it safe, so that you can benefit from all of this gain like we have over the last few years, like this article just said. Those numbers are real for us.
Yeah.
Right? And we want them to be real for you too. Anything to add?
We'll see you back here Monday morning.
Yeah.
Come join us, 7 a.m. Mountain Time.
All right, guys.
Have a great weekend.
Thanks for listening. Want to be coached personally by Wayne and Gabby? Then you should join the Real Estate Investing Masters Mentorship Program. Details are in the show notes to get started.